In every room, there is one man that stands out above the rest. Or perhaps he walks into the room, and not everybody's head will immediately turn like they do in the movies, but people feel his presence. The atmosphere changes slightly. And when he talks, people are mesmerized by his words. They hang on to every little thing he says. This is a type of man that has what we would call a commanding presence. I've certainly been around a few men like this in my life. And if you haven't, maybe you've seen them in a fictional character like a James Bond or a Tommy Shelby. These men certainly have a very powerful presence. But this presence is not something people are born with, and these are all attributes that you can study and implement into your life, therefore giving you a more commanding presence. So let's get right into it and explain how you can do this. Hello, my name is James, and I am on a mission to create a generation of gentlemen. The first thing that we need to address when it comes to a commanding presence is your mindset. The mindset of a man with a commanding presence is that he attracts rather than chases attention. Think about the very word commanding. It requires action from other people, not action from the man himself. So if you are very needy, if you are seeking attention, validation, people notice that desperation, and there is nothing commanding about that. Instead, you need to be proud of who you are and be assured that people will take notice. When a Ferrari drives by on the street, the owner doesn't need to honk his horn for people to stare at it. And I want you to think of yourself like a Ferrari. Of course, this requires a certain level of confidence, but follow the steps to come in this video. These will help you massively boost your confidence and sense of self-worth. And one more point about mindset. A man with a commanding presence always has the attitude that he can take it or leave it. And that comes in business opportunities, it comes in social networking opportunities, and it certainly plays a big role in women. This quiet confidence, this self-assuredness is incredibly magnetic and attractive. And most people never experience these levels of self-esteem. They never know what it's like to feel comfortable and confident in their own skin. So when they are around somebody who truly embodies those values, well, it is all the more mesmerizing. So my step for you to have a more commanding presence is to dress well. This is even in the 48 laws of power. Court attention at all costs. However, grabbing people's attention does not require a complicated, flashy, or even an expensive outfit. In today's world, you can have more of a commanding presence and court people's attention simply by dressing in a way that is clean, in a way that is smart, and a way that's simple. We live at a time where if a man walks into a room wearing a suit, he gets noticed. So I want you to think about small ways that you can elevate your appearance that will create a more commanding presence. Perhaps there are particular garments or colors that are highly flattering to you. Or perhaps it's a matter of leveling up your formality, wearing a dress shirt in a room where most men are wearing a t-shirt. Perhaps you are in a room where men are wearing blue dress shirts, men are wearing navy blazers. Well, if you have a very interesting Prince of Wales check sports coat or a tweed sports coat, that's going to get people's attention. And notice how these pieces aren't necessarily eye-catching in of themselves. It's more that they create a certain magnetism and a certain presence around the wearer. And that is exactly what we are looking for when we dress for success. Another vital ingredient for a man with a commanding presence is a fragrance. As a man, don't forget to stimulate the senses. If you are not noticed with the eyes, then perhaps you'll be noticed by the nose. But a commanding presence requires a fragrance that's slightly out of the ordinary. The good news is, you don't need to go spending hundreds of dollars blind buying fragrances from niche fragrance houses that you've never heard of before. Instead, I recommend a company called Scentbird, and Scentbird is sponsoring today's video. This company allows you to try a new designer fragrance every single month for just $17. Each month, you get to pick what you want from a big selection of colognes and unisex options. And with each fragrance, you will get a 30-day supply, so you can fully live with this fragrance, fully experience it, see how people react to it before committing to buying a full bottle. And you can skip or cancel your subscription anytime. I've spent the last week wearing the different fragrances that I received from Scentbird, so now I can tell you how I feel about each one. The first one I received was Yellowstone's Ride. This one is a very masculine, Western-inspired fragrance. The notes that really come through for me are the whiskey, the tobacco, and the vanilla. I love this one. I could see myself wearing it a lot. I also received Drift Open Road. Quite similar to Yellowstone Ride in a way. This one, it's very masculine, but it's a little bit more fresh. This one definitely reminds me of summer days, driving along the coast. Very good memories, so I'll definitely be wearing this one, particularly in the summer. I also received Goutal Folie d'un Soir. This one is a much darker and more heady fragrance than the others, so I have a good variety with my selection here. This one has very strong incense notes, quite strong leather, also a bit of pepper, very dark and mysterious fragrance.
Gentlemen, if you want to try this for yourself, use the code GENTZ55OFF and the link down below to get 55% off your first month at Scentbird. It's just a little over $8 for your first month, available in the US and Canada.
A hugely important aspect of presence for both men and women is their body language. Think about the body language of a man with a commanding presence. You'll notice that no matter his personality, there are a few common traits. A man with a commanding presence always has body language that is rather slow and deliberate. When we see somebody who is very flustered, who moves hurriedly and quickly, we always get the sense that they are not fully in control. And when somebody's not in control, it's very hard to feel drawn to them. It's very hard to feel like they have a significant presence. So with everything you do, from the way you walk into a room, the way you look around, even the way that you move your body to get your drink, make sure that your movements are slow and deliberate. And one confidence trick I will give you is that when you walk into a room or you walk down the street, walk like you have 3 men behind you. That will give you confidence. Just in the same way, our speech patterns, the way we talk, tell other people a lot about us. The way somebody speaks can reveal their insecurities, it can reveal their need for validation. It can also reveal how valuable they actually think their own words are. The majority of men would benefit from simply slowing down their speech. And also remember this: the power of the pause. Okay, I exaggerated it there just to prove a point. But don't be afraid to pause for 1 or 2 seconds mid-sentence, or before setting up a point that's significant. When you pause, it makes what you're about to say seem all the more important. All humans naturally have this tendency to feel like what we're saying and the pauses are going so much slower than they really are. But the truth is, when you speak slowly, it communicates to the other person that what you're about to say is actually quite important. But when you rush, they get the sense subconsciously that you're rushing through it because you know it's actually boring and you're about to bore them and you feel bad about it, so you get the sentence out as quickly as possible. Really bad idea, even if what you're saying is honestly quite boring. Finally, perhaps the most crucial step of all for developing a more commanding presence is to focus on your self-development. Yes, body language, speech patterns, clothing, these can all affect the way we feel and the way we are received. However, there is only an extent to which you can fake it till you make it. And it's very hard to fake a commanding presence if you don't believe you are truly worthy of commanding attention. And this doesn't have to be in a narcissistic way. Instead, I encourage you to develop a life that you are proud of. Are you proud and fulfilled by the work that you do? Work for us men is a huge part of our purpose and our lives. If you don't feel like you offer value to the world in the way you work, that's going to cause a massive chip on your shoulder. Are you proud of the achievements you've made in your personal goals? Do you trust yourself to actually keep the promises that you've made to yourself and achieve those goals? And are you happy with the people you are with? Are you proud of the company you keep? Especially in a social situation like being at a bar with your friends. I know that being with a group of men that I'm proud to say, yeah, these are my friends over there, is a big boost of confidence for me. So when you feel more contented, more satisfied with the progress you are making, the track that you are on, this contented energy will radiate, and it will radiate in the form of a magnetic presence. Even with clothing and fragrance, you have to wear them like you deserve to wear them. Not in an arrogant way, but just a healthy level of self-love and a feeling that you deserve to take care of yourself and have nice clothes, to have a nice cologne. If it all makes sense to you, it's much more likely it will make sense to other people. So, gentlemen, let's quickly recap my steps to have a commanding presence. First, it all begins with your mindset. Remember to attract rather than chase. Next, we can elevate our visual presence with the right clothing. We can elevate our sensory presence with the right fragrance. It's also vitally important that we demonstrate confidence and competence with our slow and deliberate body language and intentional speech patterns. But finally, and most important of all, focus on making your life as fulfilling and as enriching as possible. When you live a life you are truly proud of, that positive, contented energy will radiate. Gentlemen, thank you very much for watching today's video. Remember to check out Scentbird using the link down below, and I'll see you in the next one.